Hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. And this is the final audio podcast, if you like, in this particular series or edition. This audio podcast is part of a Storm Logistics article. This audio podcast is part of a Raptor Storm. This audio podcast is part of a Platinum edition, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Logistics production. In this audio podcast, just an overview really of some of the reading some of the reading or the sort of suggested reading or references or citations, if you like, that can be accessed or identified to uh, to um, get to ascertain some more insight into craniosynostosis and Crouzons, and literature goes back to the early 2000s, in around 2004, 2004, at least as part of this particular audio podcast overview, in around Crouzons, as works by Cabani and Rogavia in around 2004, which can be works referred to as craniosynostosis, which is accessible, there's works by Tandon and team, referred to as bilateral squamosal sutural synostosis, a rare form of isolated craniosynostosis in Crouzons syndrome, as was published in the World Journal of Radiology in around 2014, and in around 2014, and is accessible. Those works by Yamamoto and team. Are looking at long-term follow-up of a patient diagnosed with Crouzon syndrome, who underwent Lee 4, 1, and 3 distraction osteogenesis using a rigid external distractor system, and it's works that were published in an orthodontics, I believe, in an orthodontics publication, as an orthodontics publication in around 2023. There's works by Harmon and team, looking at Crouzon syndrome spanning 3 generations, advances in the treatment of syndromic midface deficiency, and published in works published in plastic reconstruction surgical plastic reconstruction surgical journal, and it in 2023, and works by Cardam and team, combined looking at combined dynamic osteomes for craniosynostosis, and also published in the plastic reconstruction surgical journal, published in 2023. These publications and as part of this audio podcast series or edition, the citations will be on social media, and at the same time, from these publications, to inform that whilst all the publications are in some detail, where particular terminologies and language in around clinical and sort of pathology medicine or pathology and laboratory medicine, and even in around neurosurgery are concerned. The paper that sort of brings sort of one of the publications that sort of is of intrigue from these publications is other publications by Harmon and team, looking at Crouzon syndrome spanning 3 generations, advances in the treatment of syndromic midface deficiency, published again in the Plastic Reconstruction Journal in around 2023. The publication by Harmon actually has sort of illustrations and also sort of inform of a sort of perspective around symptomologies around Crouzons and Craniosynostosis, again sort of spanning 3 different generations, and is of some real insight in amongst that particular publication. So that draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a Ztorm Robotics article. This audio podcast is part of a Raptor Ztorm. This audio podcast as part of a Platinum edition, and this audio podcast as part of a Ztorm Robotics production.